Good day. First, hit the like button. Before we begin anything, hit the like button. This like button thing is so important. My God, they love that. I mean to tell you, this is the most. Hit that like button. Hit it. Hit it. Also, who hasn't subscribed to the channel here? Who? Who has not subscribed? Who has not subscribed to the channel? Anybody? I don't even know what to tell you anymore. I don't even know what to tell you with that. I hate to be like that, but it's true. My friends, I welcome you, and let me just say right off the bat, a hearty hello and a hi-yo silver to you and yours. I mean it. I mean it. I don't know how to tell you this, but I mean it. Now, a couple of things I want to bring up to your attention. First and foremost, I just did, yet again, one of the most beautiful, wonderful shows. I love it. And this is on the private channel. And I talk about things which I cannot say enough, and I want to remind you of this. For what amounts to the price of a Google, which is a trifle, I think it's like 30 cents a day, maybe less than that. You get over an hour of me every single day, uninterrupted, unbridled, unedited, unlimited, nothing, no, with, like I said, a reference to sometimes a kind of a story which is interesting because there's so much good stuff out there that you have to read. People have asked, or you have asked people, what do you go to every day? I have to explain to you in a moment that. But also a musical piece. A musical piece. I was going through this morning, I'll have a video section which I talk about a music which I think is critical for you to know. For example, Danny Gatton. Danny Gatton, you have to understand that. Father Hines, Art Tatum, Alice Coltrane. There are people and why they're important. I'd love to do a radio show of sorts, which I really can't. But if ever I did, nobody would ever hire me because I would talk about a variety of musical styles and why it's important for you. And that's what I do. And that's what you get every single day. If you sign up and if you are a part of my private channel. And the reason for that is very simple. I don't have to worry about problems. People not understanding. Leave it at that. I want to tell you about a story I'd love to do. A show. And it's a show that is fascinating to me beyond anything you can imagine. Mrs. L and I were talking about it. We know people that are so interesting to me. And they capture, if you will, certain forms of behavior that I want to bring to your attention. And let me just tell you this, and this is why this has nothing really to do with politics per se, but it kind of sort of does. I can talk about this. We break this down. We will analyze this. People should hire us just to analyze them. There's one person in particular I know. She's not a liar. She doesn't lie. She's not vicious. She just never tells you the truth. And it might be because, and this is very interesting, some people that you have known maybe like to change their truth so that they can convince themselves that their life is really better, is great, is groovy, is terrific, and not what people may think it is, if that makes any sense. Okay, that's one person I want to do this. Then I want to talk about the magic of social media. Maybe you've seen this as well. I have another person, I've seen it before. Guy I know, he's must be in his 60s, and he's constantly showing you, I'm doing push-ups. I'm doing push-ups. Look, I'm doing push-ups like this. I'm doing push-ups on my fingers. I'm doing push-ups. I'm doing like this. I'm going like this. I'm doing push-ups. See, I'm something. Look at me. Look. I'm doing push-ups. I'm 60. Am I Tell me I'm worth it. Tell me I'm worthwhile. Tell me I'm valid. Tell me. Tell me. Another person I know, social media, decided to redefine herself. She is a mother of, I don't know, 2, 3 kids. She's, I think she's in her maybe 50, and decided she's going to be an influencer, but gross. She's going to be something a la, I don't want to give you a name, but something that would be considered gross. And I'd say gross, but something that's, profane, scatological, obstipational. By the way, I just came across an article yesterday, the difference between constipation and obstipation. Did you see that? Do you know that? Constipation is obviously what you understand it to be. Kind of sluggish, interrupted, slow, whatever it is. Obstipation, as to obstruction, means there's nothing. There's nothing. Nothing solid, gaseous, nothing. Nothing. It is the worst of the worst. It is emergency surgery time. Obstipation. So don't be obstipational. Isn't that beautiful? Constipation, obstipation. I never came across it. I'm sure medical professionals knew that. I love these wonderful, it's beautiful. I've been using it everywhere. I don't want to be obstipational. What? Just want to bring that to your attention. Obstipation versus constipation. Anyway, so this one wants to do that. Next. My political friends who claim, I don't know what they're claiming. And they meet in groups of folks, and they do this. Every picture is like this. Who's that remind you of? And they meet, and they want you to know, and I find this fascinating, why are you putting pictures of this? I want you to think that I'm involved, that I am connected. I want you to think that I am a part of this. I want you to think that I'm a part of this. Another friend of mine, retired couple, always in Atlantic City, always drinking. Here we are. Here's my Bloody Mary with the the fruit and the whole bit. Here we are. Here we are. Do you know people like that? Do you have friends of yours like that who are saying, "Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?" Well, here we are. I'm at the whatever the Bellagio. I have no idea what these. Atlantic City to me is like so sad, just so sad. But anyway, here's my drink. We put the picture here. We get a picture of the. Hang on a minute. No, just a drink. Here I am. I'm drinking. There we go. How's that? That's a good one. All right, post it. Here we are drinking. They get 7,000 hits or whatever it is. Please explain this to me. And I'm looking for you. I'm looking for you to tell me in your own words. Describe this. This is my TV show. And today's subject is very simply cataloging human behavior. What is this? And always think that you are that you are sitting next to somebody who is somebody who is let's say an alien who comes and asks you, why do people do this? Why do people do this? Why? And I swear to you, I could spend the rest of my time. I could do the same thing with you. I can do you. Everybody has their thing. Everybody has their thing. Everybody. Do you know this? You have people in your family. You have neighbors. They're all around. Social media allows me the chance to get into worlds. Look at this weather. Ooh, weather notification. It's raining. Here's a radar. Wow. I've got so much weather. It's raining in New York. Okay. Well, there you go. I've seen it before. I'm kind of familiar with that, but here's something for you. What does the number 627 mean to you? 627. What does that mean? Those are the days until the 2024 election. 627 days. That's it. Isn't that interesting? $627 days. There's a storm in Denmark. Is that like something's rotten in Denmark? There's a storm in Denmark. Do you see what's happening in the world right now? Do you see? Do you just see what's happening everywhere? There's so much stuff. It's like I feel I'm looking around. I'm thinking. I think, in some respects, people are. I don't want to use the word crazy because it's not a fair term. But I am seeing things with a glasses. You know, we go to this eye doctor and he goes like this. Is it better like this or better like this? Is it better like this or better like this? He's an old-fashioned ophthalmologist. I'm spitting. Not ophthalmologist, ophthalmologist. Is it better like this or better like this? Better like this, better like this. Look at the world like this. Look at it again. Look at it again. Do yourself a favor, watch any news show, turn the sound down and look at it and say, what is this? What am I watching? What is happening here? What is this? Isn't it fascinating to you? Look at what we're doing. Do you know anything that's going on right now? No, not really. Do you notice how fast things go away? They're just forgotten. They're just forgotten. Poof, gone, forgotten, like they never existed. Do you understand that? Like they never existed. Period. They're just gone. One day there's a story, one day there's not. There could be an aircraft here, then they're gone. It's just gone. Nobody talks about it ever, ever, ever again. Never. It never, ever, ever. It just absolutely kills me. It just never ceases. It just goes away. Now let me stop right now. Let me stop. Let me look at some of your observations. Your observations are so fascinating because, in case you've just tuned in, you might say, well, what's going on here? Well, this is called a morning live stream. It's called an immersion. And what happens is you have most people who listen, sometimes they listen later on during the day, and some people are acting right now. Someone writes, we are adrift in insanity. What is that? That's called a moment of poignancy. That's called, I want you to know I'm here and I'm going to say something that's profound. And it's true. Is it really? Do you think really things are insane? I don't think so. I don't think it's insane at all. I think everything is pretty much by design. I don't think it's insane. There's nothing insane. Nothing. Somebody writes goldfish syndrome. Have you noticed how many times, whenever you don't know what to do, say Streisand effect? What does that mean? I don't know. Just say it. Say it. It's very interesting. Streisand effect is when you call into attention something, and by virtue of calling attention to it, you actually make people aware of something they wouldn't have seen in the first place. You got that? People are asking, people losing interest in life. I disagree. People love life. They love their version of it, though. They love it. There's a very serious problem, I think, regarding kids, regarding teenagers. Big problems. Big problems, which really is, you better really pay attention if you care about that. Someone writes irrational. I don't know. By the way, what's an irrational number? Can you understand that? What is an irrational number versus a rational number? Have you ever thought about that? Fascinating subject. Discernment. Interesting word, Robin. Discernment. I like that. What is discernment? The difference in telling the difference between this and this. And that's where age comes in. And that's why wisdom is not really the issue. It's judgment. That is the issue. Think about that one. It's judgment. I find it fascinating. What do I mean by that? They did a study years ago. I've told you about this before. Where they took young people. Young people were allowed to do something that involved some kind of brute force recognition or observation or whatever it was. You saw it. And that was it. And you said, what's the difference between this and this and this? Well, it's hard to say. Well, guess what happens? The people who were the best at that were young people. Young people they could just do this like very quick stuff. But in tasks that involved you being able to tell the difference between this and this, older people did better. And that, they believe, is the product of this thing called judgment. To be able to tell the difference between this and this. By the way, I want to tell you something today about 3 o'clock. I've got a brand new newsletter coming out. I hope you're signed up for it. Here's the link. Sign up for it right now. It's a beaut. Oh, it's a good one. Somebody actually wrote me, do you have to be so long? Oh, it's good. It's Mundo writing. It's my own style. Nothing like it. Love it. Love it. Got a great quote from George Carlin, which makes people upset. He suggested that well, you read it for yourself. Because people love to quote George Carlin, provided he says something that you agree with. If he doesn't, then you will remove any reference to him altogether. Do you understand that? Okay, good. Let me stop for a second and tell you a couple of things right now. You know what Monday is, don't you? President's Day. That's right, sports fans. Right now, Z-Stack, you're going to love this. Use this code, and use the code President15 using my link here, and you'll get 15% off this week. Have you seen the products? Have you seen the stuff that's available? Have you seen it? Have you seen the Z-Stack? Have you seen all of this great stuff? The various products, Z-Stack, Kid Z-Stack, Z-Detox, Z-Flu, Z-Gift cards. It's wonderful. And when I tell you this is, please look for yourself. Please look. See what's going on. See what this is about. See what these things are. Hang on a minute. Here is one Z-Stack. I like this right now. Look at the bottom. Oh, look at this. Vitamin C. Love that one. 800 milligrams, almost a gram. That's pretty damn good. D3, got D3, zinc, and quercetin. 95% quercetin. What is that? Flavonoids. I love it. See, one of the things that's so funny when you talk to people about plants, I know you don't want to hear this, but I'm going to tell you this anyway, because it's kind of great. I don't want you to be obstipated. No way. When you talk about plants, one of the great things about it is that the deeper, the darker, the greener the plant. The bitter it is, the more bitter, the better it is for you. The better, the better. The more bitter, the better it is. And anytime nature puts this thing in there, nature, evolution, whatever it is, that makes things bitter, to ward off animals and insects, whatever, it's terrific. I love Tuscan kale. Tuscan kale, the darker, the greener, that's what I want. I love it. Also, if you ever get a berry, the more colorful the berry, the better it is. The better. And the bluer and the darker, and things that are, find a berry or any kind of something, or they're a grape, or that is raised out in the sun. Remember resveratrol people talked about? Because if so, it's from wine. No, it's from the grape. There is a protective coloration, a flavonoid, that protects these from sunlight. And that inures to your benefit. Isn't that beautiful? The most beautiful thing in the world you want to think about right now, what I'm telling you right now, the most beautiful thing in the world, and this is why this Z-Stack makes so much sense, is your thing called the endothelium. The endothelium, you could talk about the rest of whatever it is. The endothelium. The endothelium. This is this magic carpet of cells within the lumen of coronary arteries. And the best part about it is that you can get I love when somebody says, I went to the doctor and I'm 100%. Oh, really? My EKG was fine. Oh, you haven't had a heart attack? Yeah, okay. How do you know what are the conditions of your, I don't know. You know what the first sign of coronary problems is? Ready for this? Death. I'm not laughing. But it's very serious. It's a very serious issue. Very serious. Do you know that after the Korean War, They had a World War II, but Korean as well. They had a series, sad to say, of young American soldiers, and they did autopsies and variety of observation. Oh, would you please? Every time I say anything using the word, it sounds like this thing. Anyway. But they were noticing that upon inspection of cardiovascular stress, they noticed observable fatty deposits and the like. Observable. Gross examples of this. And then in Vietnam, even more so. And then they're seeing fatty streaks in kids. And it is our diet. I'm sorry, I don't care what anybody wants to say. Please. So you need all the help you can get. Because that endothelium is sitting here saying, what are you doing to me? What are you doing to me? Inflammation. So, leave it at that. That's me. That's me. That's what I believe in. That's that. So, Z-Stack, remember, President Code 15, use it. Do it now. Do it now. Because you need all the help you can get. There it is right now. Use my link. There it is. I love when people have this idea. I went to the doctor. I got 100%. He goes, you're in great shape. What does that mean? Well, I don't know. You're in great shape? What does that mean? How do you determine that, by the way? Is it weight? Well, that's a lot of it. Where is the weight? Is it organ weight? Is it organ fat? Is it where are the depositions of it? Oh, I don't know. I saw somebody the other day, which is so, just hear me out. It was as though whatever. I just saw depositions. We have to realize there are things about us that are genetic. Ways that we look, ways that we act, ways that we are. Look at your family. Look at things. Some of it's determined, some of it's not. All right, enough with that. So much to learn, by the way. So much to learn. Anybody have any good stories lately of dealing with people? Because I'm always in pins and needles. I don't engage folks. Again, going back into cataloging behavior, I don't engage people. I don't talk to people about diet. I don't talk to people politics. I don't talk to anybody about anything. You're the only ones. This is the only time I ever do this. I don't engage. I don't talk to anyone about this. Well, no, of course, Mrs. L. What am I saying? Of course. Somebody said the other day, what do you think about these balloons? I don't know. What do you think? That's what I do. What do you think? That's something, isn't it? Yeah, that's something. I don't know. What do you think? What's up? I don't know. Because you know why? I've realized I've been down this road. They lure me into it. I say something, then I realize they don't know what the hell they're talking about. You have no idea how many people my new show would be called, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. How many people do you know in your family, friends, neighbors, bosses? You don't know anything. I don't fit in this world. I was talking to somebody the other day who is part of a big organization, and a significant percentage of their staff just never came back to work. And I said, what do you mean? Well, they want to work remotely. They're not coming in. What do you mean they're not coming in? They're just not coming in. Well, what are you doing about it? I don't know. What? I don't know. I said, excuse me. They're not coming in. Yeah. And that's all? Well, what are you going to do? What do you mean, what are you going to do? And then I stop and say, what am I doing? Why am I getting engaged in this? This person doesn't care. This person doesn't care about this. Why am I engaging in this? Why am I talking to somebody who works at a place, big firm, big concern, big, whatever it is, and people are saying, we don't want to come in anymore. But this is a business. Well, that's it? That's it. Isn't that interesting? Is it that interesting? Now let me give you an example of something. I want you to understand something. I want to ask you a very simple question. Very simple question. And I want to go back to my hypothetical. I've introduced you right now to somebody from another planet, another whatever it is, another whatever you want to call it. And I want you to tell this person what it is that you think is the most fascinating thing about the current either state of the country, humanity, whatever it is. One fact that you want them to know that you think is the most fascinating. What is it? What is it? What is it? Because remote a while back was interesting. Do you know that years ago that somebody was driving through a McDonald's and he was talking to the drive-through, and the drive-through wasn't even in the. This is what I heard. I can't verify this. Was not in the store, but was somewhere else. Now, the idea of people about remote learning makes complete and total sense. To an extent, the idea of trying to change things makes a lot of sense. It makes sense. There are businesses that you do not need to have an actual place because people don't go into it. We've seen this. Okay?
In New York, only 9% of employees are back full-time in the entire city.
In New York City?
Yep.
In New York City, only 9%. 9%?
Yep.
Are
Back full-time.
Are back full-time. I don't understand this. I don't understand any of this. The fellow from Goldman Sachs told people, you're either come back or we're going to get rid of you. That seems to change it. Other people are saying we're not coming back to work, and they're protesting. And they're not necessarily saying we're not coming back to work because of unfair conditions, because it's unsafe. We're coming back because we're just not coming. We're not coming back. They said we get more done at home, but it's too expensive to commute. Crime and excuse me, that's not. I got to get up early. I don't want to work because I got to get up early. I got to dress. I got to come in. I got to whatever it is. So you don't understand. This is the balance. Listen to me right now. Look at me. 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 This is life. No, don't say that. I know what you're thinking. This is life. It's balance. The greatest thing in the world that ever happened was this. This. I can talk to you right now. This. I come from an industry called radio that believed that we're so good. We're so good. Nobody can top us. Why? Well, because of our voice. Because of our voice. Because I've got production. And I've got the Don Pardo type. And I've got the, these people. That's right. Coming up right now, it's 5:50. Let's go to traffic and weather. Traffic and weather? What are you talking about? This is from the 50s. I don't know the way we do it. That's the way we do it. We do radio. There's a friend of mine who's in radio who thinks, and I said, do you understand that that there are podcasters in the world, whether it's Joe Rogan or whoever, who have more input, who are international. And he has no conception of them. So this is the greatest simplifier, the greatest equalizer, which is the most wonderful thing in the world. But there's a balance. There's a balance. There is a radio station. I'm saying, why do you have to go in to the station? Because of the quality of the sound. That's it. Maybe because there's a board op and or an engineer and you can get the sound. And by the way, I can look at immediately. Let me just look at it. Let me just look at the sound, the graph, or whatever it is, and I can tell who's good and who's not. Some of the stuff that I'm seeing is the stuff that's on regular conventional radio is just horrible. And the things there are more people. There are so many good people who are just doing, streaming that are excellent in return. See, because there's this hubris. There's this idea that this isn't radio. This isn't TV. You can't do this. There is a show where somebody is in their bedroom. There's a million of them. And it looks like a little girl's bedroom. Looks like your sister's bedroom from the 60s. Little, fluffy things. And maybe there's a little glowing light. And you know what? There's more people who watch that than name it. I don't. So this is where I'm saying, whatever. Fine. There are cases where you might not have to be going into the office. But here's what you're going to do. You're going to get your salaries cut accordingly. If you're not going to come in and I'm not going to be able to see you, fine. I'm not going to come. You're not going to get paid as much. One of the reasons why you were paid is because you had to come in. That was part of the deal. But since you're not coming in, let's see how people do with that. But we'll see. That's something which is a fascinating subject beyond anything I have ever seen. Okay, let me talk about something else which is important. Again, our friends at My Patriot Supply, very quickly. When people, they love to talk about, did you see how much you pay for eggs? Did you see how much did you see how much you pay for eggs? Yes. What do you think this is telling you? What do you think this is telling you? What do you think is happening? We believe in our country. And by the way, there's a link right there. By the way, if you're listening to this later on a phone, please, you got to hit that little more button. If you think that everything is guaranteed, I don't know how to tell it. Where were we the other day where we saw there were things missing? And it was like, we got scared a little bit. Supermarket. But what was it? It was like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
What was missing?
Yeah.
A lot of dairy products.
Dairy cleaning products. Mrs. L can do this. She can go and look at these things. Oh my gosh, she can say, look at this, look at this, look at this. Paper goods. Oh, what does all this mean? What does this mean? Pay attention. So anyway, you've heard me say this before. My Patriot Supply is simply there. Go to preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com, and you can save $250 on a 3-month emergency food kit. This is a no-brainer. There it is. Ignore it at your own peril. It's up to you. It makes complete and total sense. My Patriot Supply, using the code only preparewithlionel.com. 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 Everything is going to be completely different. Right now, there is a boom of growth in New York. Buildings, which might have been done before, years ago, years before, whatever happened. Do you see what's happening? Can you feel it? Are you sentient, empathic? Do you see, do you notice how people are thinking and how people are reacting differently? There is a change. And I'm telling you, it is so interesting to see. Little things happen. The computer, online, and it's one of the best parts about being in my generation is that I was there through every incremental step. How everything went from just online brokers, and then all of a sudden people are doing this, and everything. Is anyone dating? Is there anyone here who has been or is a fan of whatever this iteration of online dating is today? Is there such a thing as dating? Is there such a thing as actual courtship? I'm not trying to sound stupid here. It's completely inadvertent. Is there such a thing? Is there such a thing? Somebody mentions robots. Robots, you still don't understand robots. Let me tell you what is going to happen, and listen to what I'm saying. I'm glad our friend Cinzino brought this up. Okay? Okay. One day, you're going to see somebody who is in a very serious, God forbid, an accident, a vegetative state, something that would normally disenable them from serving in office or whatever it is, okay? Okay. This person will then be elected to office. You're going to say, wait. What? In a persistent vegetative state, who is elected to office. And you're going to say, okay, tell me how you do that. Okay, fine. There will be, tell me if you see this as being far-fetched. There will be a means of access, a portal of sort, either deliberate physical contact or telepathic or what have you, that through the magic of AI or AGI, artificial intelligence or artificial general intelligence, they will have been able to figure out exactly who you are. They will have been able to take the essence of you and reduce it into an AI program. It also works in how you would have developed. Actually makes you better and smarter. So you have, for example, Politician X. Politician X is here. Politician X has some kind of a whatever it is. Maybe, God forbid, I don't want to go do too far, but maybe Politician X has expired. Let's don't push it too much. You will be able to say, wait a minute, this politician, we know what he or she were doing, what their thoughts were, what their ideas were. We have ChatGPT. We have the ability to write, to compose, to think, and to basically to teach itself what this person. So it was like a limited AI, a limited AGI, modified using this person's way. So we're going to just continue this person's advocacy and the like, and we will create actual what this person would be saying if this person were cognizant, aware, conscious. And we will continue with this, even though for all practical purposes, this person is not. Because there is nothing in the rules that prohibit anybody from not serving office or doing anything because of some type of cognitive impairment. It's almost been pretty much presumed. Now, is that far-fetched or not? Is that far-fetched? Do you see one day you not having members of your family living on indefinitely, not necessarily in a hologram, but in a version of what they would be using AGI technology? Thus, removing the notion, the reality of what we would call death. I don't for a moment. When Saudi Arabia who declared Sophie a robot a citizen, that was the alarm bell that should have gone off, but it didn't because you weren't paying attention, because you didn't understand it as such. You didn't recognize it. Nothing clicked. Nothing clicked. It was like, oh, okay. Oh, no. Things happen incrementally. And whether they do it on purpose or whether it's called successive approximation. Somebody mentioned Stephen Hawking. Very good point. Stephen Hawking, however, was sentient for all practical purposes, though his output might have been affected. But that's a very, very interesting aspect. Very, very, very interesting aspect of this whole thing. You've got to stop thinking now and think in the future. You have to think, where are we going with this? When Skinner talked about trying to break people of phobias, he talked about successive approximations. There's two theories. One is that, and the other one is the implosion theory. If you're afraid of snakes, successive approximation would be, let's talk about snakes. And I'm going to show you a picture of a snake. And maybe we're going to go to a zoo or a herpetarium or something and look at snakes. Maybe one day you can touch a snake. Successive approximations. Disinhibiting you, habituating you, conditioning. The implosion theory is I take a garter snake, which is harmless, and I throw it at you. And you freak out, and it's like I'm afraid of water, throw you in the pool. That has proved to be most problematic. But that doesn't work. Successive approximations get you used to something. The next thing you know, you habituate, you don't realize all that is happening. And what is happening, what I see happening right now in the next 15, 20 years, I don't know if I'm going to be here, but will be something that you cannot possibly understand. You will, if I told you now, you would not understand it. They stop for a second right now and talk about our dear friends, our sponsor at EMP Shield. EMP Shield, electromagnetic pulse. Just the other day, I was asking you, do you know what that is? And you said, yeah, I know what that is. Do you think that could ever happen? An electromagnetic pulse, maybe a super coronal phenomenon, so a Carrington event, as they were called. Remember that 19th century, that super coronal fried everything? Do you think that's possible? Yes. Are you prepared? Are you able to ward off, to deal with an EMP, some type of an attack? Do you think that is beyond the realm of possibilities? I don't think so. If you are the least bit yourself sentient, aware, mature, wise, open-minded, and really connected, please go to this link. Please see for yourself. Read the literature. Read it. It takes you less than an hour. Everything. And your jaw will drop and you'll think, oh my God, why hasn't anyone talked about this? Why hasn't anyone talked about this? Well, I think you know why. So it's EMP Shield. There it is. Use the link. Remember, they are one of our sponsors, and we thank them for that because that's pretty groovy to do what it is that they do. Now, as we go on, many of us today, as you know, we are kind of making our way through life, trying to figure out what's going on, trying to figure out what's happening. I want to bring you up to speed of something. Your job as a citizen of the world and somebody who is connected must understand that you must pay attention to the environment. There were people years ago who would do things like they would say, let's look at the bees. Colony collapse disorder. Remember that? What about the bees? Anybody talk about the bees? If you lose the bees, you lose everything. And we stop talking about that, which is what we always do. We just forget. Then there was a series of vulpine or fox, I think vulpine, vulpicide, fox, that were just, foxes are interesting. They're not dogs. They're not in any way. They're not in that lineage. They're a little different. They're quadrupeds, but that's about it. And then they'll talk about chickens, and there's a balance. And when you're on the mountain and you're looking out, you're looking at the enemy, you're looking at the war, you're looking at the battle, you've got to take into account all of these pieces of data. Do you know that at the end of the Soviet Union, I saw this, assuming it to be true, there was a documentary in which members of the KGB then were very curious about what people were thinking. And they would listen to jokes, what political commentators were saying. You notice today we don't have political commentary. We have comedians. We don't really have political commentary. There is no George Carlin. There is no Bill Hicks. There is no Mort Saw. There is no Lenny Bruce. It doesn't exist. We don't have that. Don't have that. We have other people. We have perhaps one of the most immature levels of comedy there is. Base, jejune, puerile, juvenescent, sophomoric, unicellular, synthetic, tissue thin, base, unicellular. I think I said that. Just very kind of paramecium-like, you know. But we don't really have what you would call, like in the old days, serious political commentary. With consequence, no, you don't. You have people who are, you know, perhaps shut down for different reasons. But in the old days of the fall of the Soviet Union, people wanted to look. And there was one particular joke that the KGB heard, which really made a lot of sense to them. And they were reading these, trying not to laugh. And one of them said, why does toilet paper have two sides? And the answer was, the joke was, two sides, one for use, and the other side to send to Moscow. Now, apparently, there was something about the bureaucracy, and you had to fill forms out and whatever. And that told them, because that's the first time something happens. Did you ever see water boiling? You ever bring oatmeal to a boil? And you see when you see that first pop, here we go. It's happening. Up till now, it's been kind of rumbles a little bit. And you're always looking to see change. You're always trying to see change. And it's incremental. And a change, a manifestation may not mean anything. It may look different, but it doesn't mean anything. What does it mean, and where is it coming from? What's causing this? How do you read this? Most difficult thing for people to do. And you're not going to see it anywhere on cable news. Anywhere. I promise you. Listen to what I'm saying. In cable news, they will do something, for example, they'll explain, here's a clock. And they'll talk about this thing moving and the numbers, but they won't tell you about the notion of time, how time is different, depending upon time zones, They won't tell you about Einstein and time, the twins paradox, space-time. No. Cable news tells you time like this. They have these things called hands, and they move. And the thing that moves the fastest, that's the second hand. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. Okay, coming up next, things in your bathroom that can kill you. That's as deep as they go. Why? Not enough time, not enough depth, and they realize this. Nobody cares about this. And we don't want to do this because once you commit yourself to deeper explication, you got to keep doing it. You got to keep going. And they don't have the time for that. Plus, they don't have the wherewithal and the manpower, and nobody really cares. So if you want to know what something means, no. If you want to know context, history, perspective, what does this mean? Don't worry about it. If you went to a doctor and said, listen, this rash, how long have you had this rash? Why is something wrong? Well, sit down. No, but it could mean something. Do you know how many diseases start off with a rash? Let me tell you. Now, a rash normally means something. And the fact that you have rash on both sides means it's systemic versus, wow, thank you. I feel better. That was interesting. You gave me perspective. Thank you, doctor, if that ever happens. You'll never see this on news because people don't know it. They don't give you perspective. They don't say, well, here's what this means, but let me tell you why. We've seen this before. It doesn't really matter. No. Where you live right now and what's happening is there's a news director who's sitting in a newsroom and he's looking to see what the competition is doing. They've been doing this since day one. And they want to see who leads with what. And they watch this one. They say, I like that break. I like that sweeper. I like that. I like the sound. I like the breaking news. I like the breaking news. Breaking news. How about developing story? Well, that's good. Developing story. What's the difference? I don't know, but I like that. Okay, what do we do? How many people? Oh, they have a three-person. You have a three-person set. Well, that's good versus two, yeah. Will you ever see two men on a set? Never. Well, we can talk about it. Certain rules. Never. Never. I want to see somebody on TV do the news with tattoos. First, a real visible tattoo, maybe a neck or something. Seriously. Now you're going to say, what difference does that make? Makes a lot of difference. Watch how this is changing drastically. And here's the best part. The people who are running the show when it comes to mainstream media are stuck in the 50s. And they don't even realize it. They're stuck in the 50s. They're John Cameron Swayze. They're still doing news, traffic, weather, sports. They do weather on the ones. And I mean, they're cliched. They can't pull themselves out of that muck and mire. Isn't that something? It's the mire and not Meyer Lansky. All right, my friends, very quickly, I'm going to say this about this. Our friend, you know him. Our sponsors at MyPillow. 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 MyPillow, go to mypillow.com/Lionel. By the way, the slash is a solidus or a virgule. And right now they've got the MyPillow 2.0, or 2.0 actually. No, we say out of convention. Buy one, get one free. They got a bathrobe closeout sale that'll knock you silly. And their slippers, out of control. They sell, those might be their biggest sellers of all time ever. And there's one thing about slippers. Number one, very simple. You wear them at home, and you put them on, and they got to be luxuriating. They've got to feel great, and that's it. I don't care what they look like, but I got a pair that, well, I can buy MyPillow slippers, but you might have a pair that you've had for a long time. It's time to get some new ones. And these are incredible. You can also call 800-645-4965, 800-645-4965, mypillow.com. Use promo code Lionel and receive a free gift. Tautological, yes indeed, but that's the way that is. Now, my friends, and I mean that sincerely, you are my friends. We've got so much that is happening right now. Now, let me just say this again. Remember what I just told you. Remember what I told you. Until the end of, was it 670 days? I forget what I told you. When was this? Till the end of, I don't know. Can you believe this? I can't even think about elections again. I can't. There has got to be. Let me ask a quick question. Please answer yes with a number 1 or no with a number 2. Do you think there should be a limited amount of time in which you can politic from this date to this date? Yes or no? Do you? Do you? Do you? I'm thinking about that. Do you think there should be a limitation as to what is spent? Do you think yes?
Take the money out of it, you have to.
You have to take the money out of it?
Well, everybody's calling for equity,
Okay.
you know.
And you also need maybe take equity. However, there's a First Amendment consideration, and there's also Citizens United. Right now, I can tell you that most Americans that I meet say that the way we are running the show has to change. It is that simple. But no one is talking about it. Term limits. Who possibly could be against term limits? Who in their right mind? Now remember, in the case of Article 3 judges, I think they're doing mandatory retirements in some cases 70 years old. Not with the Supreme Court, but whatever. Senior judge status. But the way that's going on right now, everybody is absolutely screaming, this has to change immediately. It's that simple. So we will continue next time with that. My friends, I wish you a great and a glorious day. Thank you so very much for watching. Please remember, I got a brand new newsletter coming out today. Actually, it was yesterday, but I got a new one today. It's coming out about 3 o'clock. And make sure you sign up for it. It's a beaut. And some people don't like it because, well, you'll see immediately why. Because there's this thing called the truth that can be most problematic. Also, I want to thank you. Please, you've been terrific. Please follow Mrs. L. This is her, where we went. Oh, this is Mrs. L on Twitter. She is just, you've got to see what is happening. When you watch her Twitter feed, you will not believe how many times you say repeatedly, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that, because the news is there. You got to know where to look. And you have to figure out the person who actually collates and who compiles and who provides a compendium of your news. So there we go with that. All right? Okay. All right, dear friends. Have a great and glorious day. See you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Until then, 'tis I, your new best friend, reminding you the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Tat-tat.